Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video with me, Essex Hydro, here back on Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. Don't worry, I haven't stopped with the replays, just had a particularly busy weekend and I was away for a little while, but we're back. So, we're here with the Tower Protectors. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, I'm rocking two Custodians, that's right. We've got a bunch of Nixar to keep them busy, and we have a bunch of small little free ships which are probably just going to sit there and I'm going to forget about. But within this, we're going to be rocking the repair drones, we're going to be rocking the stasis bomb. We're against the Imperial Navy, the pesky Imperial Navy with all of their torpedoes. We're going to see what they're going to be throwing at us this game. Now, straight away we've sent off a couple of fighters against the Imperial Navy. Main reason being is I'm not expecting them to have a good defense against this. It's very rare to see a carrier fleet from the good old Navy, so we should be fairly safe to send ours in. And if they do, ours are fairly likely to win. But once we sent in one wave, we can then sort of evaluate our situation and see if we need to send in any more. Now, the map is looking pretty favourable for me. We've got a nice sort of 2 points very close to us at the beginning, far left, far right. The next wave of points on the right-hand side are a little further away, and probably it looks like the enemy's going to get to them first, seeing as it seems that he has silent running alongside the ability to thrust while silently running. One day I'll get the terminology of this right, but for now I'm just going to continue referring to it as thrusting. Now, it does seem, and this is very fortunate here, that my enemy does have a couple of single unit fighters to try and defend with, and he might be able to stack up two of them by the time mine make it there. But that being said, I do have stacks of 5, so they're going to be absolutely fine with this. They're going to mow them down pretty quick. Oh no, stack of 6 even, there you go. But yeah, those two squadrons aren't going to do much against mine. Mine are going to have a fairly easy time here and should be able to take them down. Assuming, of course, that their AI and pathing sorts itself out. So, that being said, that's going to be a whole bunch of turrets taken down, and we can probably now look to torpedo some of them. So, we're going to be going for the first ship, which has got its turrets currently trained onto the fighters, and we're going to be trying to take that down first. Reason being not going for the flagship is basically at this point, if you aim for the flagship, it's probably going to go into the other ship anyway, and, well, that's fine for me if I can take down one ship. The Retribution's a little bit easier to kite, because once you go behind it, it can't really do much other than a micro warp jump to try and turn around, so sometimes I'm perfectly happy taking down another ship first, but we'll have to wait and see. So here we can see the first wave of torps coming in. There's even one from a escort being contributed there, so that nice little extra bit of damage coming in. So that's a whopping amount of hull damage done, and there's the next wave there, beautiful, and that's nearly a dead ship. Obviously, the Custodians are firing away with their lock-on stance. We do have a stasis bomb ready to try and buy us a little bit of time. A couple of fires on the enemy ship as well. That's going to be handy too. Next wave of torps at the ready, and we still have plenty of fighters stripping down those turrets. Now, there is a wave, Hydra, pay attention, there is a wave of torps coming from the side, which we've not noticed yet. We do get hit by 2 of them. A little bit unfortunate, so we take a little bit of hull damage here. Use that stasis bomb just to buy us a little bit of time. With his turning circle, you basically have to stop moving to try and avoid that. And we can see a few Dauntless coming from the left, which could be a little bit hairy and a little bit dangerous. We've taken 3 boarding actions here, and we're going into the call to arms, which may be a little bit of a mistake. Instead of losing 12 troops, we're going to lose 6. So we gain a total of 6 troops. Now, what I'm doing here with this Custodian is giving him a hug, because he has torpedoes and he's going to want to use all 6 volleys. We're going to try and prevent him doing that by getting in a range where he can't. Obviously, his other ships are currently being held. Now, we could ram from the other side potentially with the flagship, but what we're doing now, we've popped the repair drone, so now we're just running around and hopefully using those bombers to finish them off fairly soon. As soon as I've done a little bit more damage to this other ship, we're going to be able to make our way out of here. It does seem, though, that our ship is going to lose out of thruster, and it's probably going to take a little bit of a glancing ram, and I believe I managed to make it onto brace for impact before we got there, so that's always good too. Now, we have managed to strip down the majority of turrets from one of those ships. That is good, and we have set this other Dauntless on fire so we can be able to get out of there, although we have burned the entirety of our thruster, so that's not too good. It means that this ship is going to probably be taking considerable damage, and we've managed to forget to turn off our flagship's engine, so it's now basically sat on the broadside of the enemy Retribution. taking a whole bunch of Dakar, but as well as that probably taking a boarding action, which is a little bit potato of me and a little bit dumb. But hey, we can move on and see how we're doing. It seems that the bombers are still doing a pretty decent job over here. I think we might as well set our escorts over onto the reload stance to try and do a little bit more damage. Boarding action obviously is whittling away the troops of my main ship. I could really, and I should really here, be bringing in those escorts from the right hand side to either take his point, perhaps as they walk through as well, to restock my flagship with another 4 crew, which would have been a much smarter thing to do. Weighing up the possibility here of using my torpedoes against that ship, but instead decided to ram it first, and then I think a little bit of a premature use of torpedoes here. You can see them come out but instantly disappear, so I have a feeling that they most likely were sort of stuck on debris and didn't make it anywhere, which is a bit sad because a whole volley of torpedoes does a whopping amount of damage. Now it looks like he's going in for another boarding action, but our fast engines and our increased moving manifold thruster, whatever the hell it's called, allows us to move at a pretty decent speed, especially when thrusting 555. That is a decent speed, and the turn speed as well. These ships are actually quite hard to catch and pretty nippy. Now we do have a wave of bombers which we can send out here. They will stack up with the other wave of bombers and hopefully do a bit of damage to that flagship. It's got a pretty decent amount of hull, so I think you're probably looking at about 6 waves in total. Uh-oh, here comes another torpedo volley. Now it looks like we're going to get hit by 2 of them, maybe even 3. No, only 1 fire on the ship. That's pretty handy. Stick it on the reload stance now because, well, we need the mobility basically to get around and move around. So hopefully we're going to be able to get this ship to safety. Although I have kind of put it into a little bit of an awkward place. But stasis bomb coming from the enemy, that may well help me. We're just about running out of our ability to move quickly, and our other flagship has probably got itself into a little bit of an awkward position here. Seems he's really trying to focus one of my ships. He's really trying to focus for these boarding actions too. That's going to be another 4 troops taken down, perhaps, potentially. No, only 1 troop lost per single stacks. That's not too bad. We're going to go down to 7. Nearly down to the red, but we're still hanging in there. Now, again, really should be using these escorts on the right-hand side to restock some of my crew. That would be very, very helpful. And, well, he does have some fairly damaged ships right now, but my morale is looking pretty low, and my troops have been whittled down quite a lot, so I'm a little bit nervous here to see how we cope with this. Well, obviously I've already played the game, so I know how it ends, but still, I'm nervous just watching this because it's looking a little bit tense. If my deck were to go down on this ship, or if I were to get another mutiny, I would have to execute, and that would be a whole bunch of extra crits, and not a lot of margin for error should I get another mutiny, so I'm a little bit scared. But that being said, we do have some absolutely amazing fighters, absolutely amazing bombers, and although he's got 9 turrets here, that's not going to be enough to take out those bombers, and another couple of torpedoes coming in as well from the escorts. That should be able to do a decent amount of damage here. 14 seconds till we get another set, and there we go. There's a boarding action against his flagship that will probably not do a lot. Tower protector boarding actions are not particularly fancy, but we are getting the opportunity here to shoot him in the rear, which is going to be handy. Those bombers finally heading on up and over. They're finally heading their way in, and here we have our Custodian trying to survive against a torpedo volley, but thanks to the speed, pretty impressive, able to get a decent distance and move away. Now we do have still 2 squadrons of fighters and 3 bombers still healthy because they've each managed to make their way back each time, but keeping a hold of them right now because he does have some what appears to be some boarding aircraft heading their way over, and I don't really want to be taking crits from losing crews, so we're going to be trying to wiggle our way around until they're taken down. Sent out the bombers now, which should be able to do a run against his flagship, and we're sending everything else in behind to hopefully shoot him in the rear. Now, a little bit of a risky play here, turning my Custodian around, especially when there is a gas cloud right next to me. Pretty terrible life choice here, because I could be happily sat in that cloud, and here you can see I've actually made the choice to, no, maybe not the cloud is the best thing, maybe moving behind him is now the most efficient. Going to be taking a boarding action again, but we've managed to make it behind the Retribution, which is going to buy us a little bit of time. I decided this is probably the best escape route, and that's going to be a torpedo volley, which is probably the end of my ship. Yep, so basically a terrible choice on where to go. Now we have managed to finally use the rally ability here. He still has some healthy ships, but I still have a pretty juicy looking flagship. with a decent amount of health, which still has repair drones. With the old bombers are heading on in, his flagship has mutinied. He has just quelled the mutiny though by executing someone. Good job to him, but it does seem that his engines are looking a little bit weak as he's not moving around particularly quick, so I'm feeling pretty confident now that we can mop this one up, and it's looking like it may be GG. Basically, by staying alive long enough and making all of the use out of these bombers, we've managed to, I think, most likely survive. Now, we do have 369 and we have 15 turrets over there on the right hand side, so they might be able to stay alive. He's heading on over to try and capture and prioritise points right now, and he is leading on points as well, so he only needs another 800 in order to win. So can he do that? I think that's going to be unlikely, given that it seems that his flagship's engines are down, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I still have quite a few escorts alive because I've forgotten about them the majority of the game, which is pretty poor play from my part, I would say. Pretty poor play indeed, but we also still have plenty of fighters and bombers, so it's really only a matter of time now before the bombers head on over and manage to destroy that flagship. As for down here, it seems that a couple of stray Cobra torpedoes have come out of nowhere, and now we have the race between the Dauntless and the escort, so we're going to see if he's able to ram me, see what's going on here, and see maybe if I can even counter-ram him in return. Bombers, I think, will take out the flagship. I'd like to watch, but at the same time, I'd like to keep my escorts alive. Little tiny move. Oh, the tension. The tension. It's too much. It's too much for some. I think at this point, splitting them up would have been preferable. Yep, there we go. There we go. Is he going to do it? We're just within the torpedo range here, so if he fires them, it's not going to do anything. There we go. And we're good. We're good. We're Gucci. There we go. We're fine. We're safe. And it does seem that we've taken down that flagship, and now we can move on to capture the rest of the points. That extra 300 points from killing the flagship, obviously enough to move things over. And thank you very much, Sporehammer, for the really good game. Really enjoyed this one. Nice and chaotic. Lots of clicking to be done. And I think one or two extra torpedo volleys on me and probably would have swung the other way. Thank you very much, my friends, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to check out some of the others which we have in the playlist right here. Take care, guys. All the best.
How may I serve the tower?
The Imperials guide us.